Go ahead and knock out this next cabinet. So here's the color. Again, you've seen that in the previous videos. This is the style. It's going to go on the far side, furthest away from the dishwasher. And counted up each one, separated it out. This is the one that I'm going to have to use next. It is the 15, 19, 31. There's 22 of those, and I didn't want to have to sort through all the different hardware, screws and stuff that look similar, and I didn't want to grab the wrong one. So I went in, took all the small stuff, and this is something I 3D printed for bolts that I use in my shop. And so I just used that because I could separate everything out, and it actually worked out perfectly. I almost had, or I do have, a tray for just about everything. What I'm talking about left and right, this part right here that is 100, 392, 12, those are our lefts. They're going to go on this side, on my right side. I guess if I was facing back towards the camera, it'd be on my left. And then these have an R right up here. Just like these have a left or an L, these have an R. Shows right here, that is going to be 100, 392, 14. And those are all going to take these screws that are 15, 19, 3, 1. Those are the ones I said we had 22 of. And so each one is going to take 3 of those screws. So we're going to go ahead and start that now. Let's go ahead. We'll start over here on the ones that say left. And we'll go ahead and get those inserted. So we'll go ahead and get the first one started, and then I'll finish it up. This is why I wanted this separator, so I could just reach in without having to second guess if I had those correct. All right, and you'll notice on the close-up that this wheel is down here. If you've placed the L there, I don't think there's any way to get it turned around. Get this piece in step 3 locked in. We'll move to step 4 and lock in. All right, we'll take this piece. So these two are closer than that one. So the two that are closer should go on bottom, with these being face out. And then you can slide that into place. Just press it down, it'll snap in. It should be flush on the ground. And once you do that, then we can move to step 4. Just same thing, opposite side. We're going to take that, lift it up, match those up, make sure they're in there all the way, and then we'll press those down until it snaps to the ground and it's flush. All right, so now we're going to go to step 5. We're going to take this piece, we're going to bring it between those two. This hole needs to be closer to this side, so it needs to be down. And then we'll snap that. So it's going to go here. This one's going to go there, and these will snap back up. Instead of pressing them down, those will snap up into place. We're going to take these pieces here, 136, 38, 4 for step 6. And we're going to insert those in here to prevent that from backing up. So you take this piece, you slide it in, and then you press this piece down into there. These are kind of flexible. There we go. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Those flex in. So that was step 6. So we're on step 7. We're going to take these brackets here that are 100, 32, 27, 4. These brackets. There's going to be one on each side. And we're going to take those screws, 15, 19, 31. We're going to take 2 of those. 2 over here, 2 on the other side. And we're going to insert that right around in here. There we go. But we also don't want to make sure they're not loose in any way. We've completed step 7. We've got the 2 brackets in over there. Now we're going to put 2 other additional brackets in. But this is going to take that bracket 102, 720. You'll have 2 of those. So we're going to put one on this side, one on the other. And you should have 8 of these screws, 100, 45, 514. We're just going to use 2 of those, one on this side, one on the other. So let's go ahead and get that mounted. So you want to make sure that that screw, when you're placing this one in, is the one that goes vertical, not horizontal. Like if I flip this over and mounted it this way, it would go front and back. You don't want that. You want this to go vertical. And what that'll allow you to do is to move that bracket if you need to later on to get it flush with the cabinet top. You're going to have a vertical alignment, a hole. One is horizontal. Make sure when you mount these that you place it so that it's vertical, so you can bring this. What that allows you to do is move it up and down so you can get it flush to the countertop. Same thing on this opposite side. Good. And so we'll be able to adjust those when we put the countertop on. So we've got the 24-inch. So we're going to have the price, more than likely it's going to be the first number. It's going to end with 488. All the other ones end with a different number, 86 and 84. So we're going to go back to step 9. We're going to take part 180 and it ends with 488. If you have the other sizes, they'll end in 486, 484. But we've got 488. It's a mounting bracket. It's going to go across here. So you've got a little nipple there. I don't know what else to call it. Insert that thing. Be careful not to scratch. Larger hole goes on top. A little insert goes on the bottom. I guess the insert would be a better. Now we can go to 10. So this is step 10. This is that first plastic insert, kind of acts like an anchor. It's going to be 130884. I guess it's not an anchor. It just kind of locks it into place. But it is threaded. And then you'll have the second part, which is going to be 130886. So there is that little plastic insert that goes in it. So let me insert that one in, the larger one that has the threads that kind of anchors in. And then this one snaps in. And what that does is it spreads it out so it can't be pulled out. Again, here it is. The threaded one goes in. Press it in and then take the snap. And it snaps in. And then you should be good. So our next step, we don't have the border that goes all the way around. We have the legs that are exposed. So we're going to go ahead and install the bracket. So we're going to move here. We're going to go to step 11. All right, so this is what comes in a box of legs. We can throw that out. This runs the foot in and out, the bolt that threads in the bottom. So these thread all the way out. I'm going to go ahead and do that for each one of these. We don't have the border. And so we place these little brackets down. You'll see that I've already drilled the hole. But you'll want to do that with the leg on it. And I'll show you how I did that in just a second. Flip that around. And then it's going to tell you to put the larger screw in first. Smaller one in second. Those look like they're self-tapping. That's going to be the 109-503 that came with the legs. And the 100-455-13 also came with the legs. It's the larger one. You'll want to make sure that these are turned out with a leg up against the edge. So it appears that they are left and right. So I'm going to move that one around. Hang on, I've got the screw in the wrong place. So you match up the holes, put the larger screw in first, and then you'll drill your hole. Let's go ahead and do that real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. So I run that down, making sure, get it nice and snug. It has something to thread into so that it's right along that edge. And then you take your drill. I'm using a 7/64. So you drill that out. I've already done that, so I don't want to ruin those threads that I may have created. And then you put the smaller screw in. And you'll notice all of these legs have the painter's tape keeping this piece on. I'll show you what that's for in just a second. it's going to cover up the leg, especially if this screw is all the way extended. It slides over that and hides it after you remove the painter's tape. So that screw prevents that from rotating around. And if I were to try to place this leg on this side, notice what happens. Like if I try to go up to that edge, this is going to be in here. We don't want that. So that's why I'm saying these are left and right. And they're probably marked. We're in step 15 where we're going to move it into place, get it level. It shows that if you can see the studs, you go to page 23. If you can't see the studs like ours, you go to 28. I already know because of the last one, we're not going to be able to do that step yet. To 16, and this is talking about marking the wall with those brackets that we put on. We're not going to do that yet. Go ahead and snap those inserts in with the hardware like we did for the last one, so we don't lose the hardware. So that was 17. We're not doing this step yet until we get everything lined up, because we still need the dishwasher in. So we're gonna place those in just so we don't lose it. So this one tells you, you go to this step if you've got the 24-inch. Let's go ahead and move this into the place that it's gonna go, and be careful on how we put this down on the floor, because we don't want to snap these, we don't want to snap the legs off. So I'm going to lift it up, put it down in place, and we'll start working on step 1 of the actual drawers that go in. So eventually we'll mount these together when we get ready to do the countertop. We'll mount those into the stud. But for right now, that's going to do, because we're still waiting on the dishwasher. All right, step 1, we're on the 24-inch wide cabinets. So I'm going to raise that one up, and then this snaps down into place. This one is going to snap down. Good. So we got that. That was step 1. Step 2. So there's an edge cut in those 1/4-inch pieces of plywood or whatever they're using that's going to slide down into this. And you want to make sure that that edge that's cut goes up against the back portion of this. Try not to bend those either. All right, so that's pressed in there. Feels nice and secure. All right, step 4 shows that 100 47244. We're going to place it in. It shows that it takes, these go on the outer side. I'm just going to snap that one in, and I'll do the same thing over here. And this is for the larger face of the drawers. So that one's going to go here, and we should have 3 drill holes in the center that don't have anything in them yet. So step 5 shows placing that board down with those 2 pieces that we just put in step 4, placing it down, and then placing the cabinet on top. So that's what we're going to here. Go right there. There we go. Good. 2 pieces that came with the last part. And those are going to insert in this direction down into those holes. And that should help lock it into place. So this part here is going to go up against that back part out for that to snap in there and kind of lock it into place. So we actually have to press that one out and then press that into place so it locks in. 14, 61, 13s. You only have 3. And I'll run that on. We are on step 8. We're taking this hardware here, and we're going to place it on. We've got to snap it down. So we've got to take that part and snap it down, and it should line up so that this part that's cut into it aligns with that groove. And then the screw we put in, we didn't thread it all the way down, we threaded it about halfway down. We're going to snap that on and then screw it down to lock it in place, and then we'll go to page 42 after that. Lined up, snap it down. Okay, so that goes into place there. And then we're going to slide that in. You notice how I slid that in behind the back. This part's still flexible. I'll line it up here because there's nothing really in the way. That looks pretty square. All right. So let's run that down. So now we can go to step 1 of the install. We're going to take the smaller one. You got to kind of tilt it up first, slide it down, and then it should slide into place. That looks good. Now in here, it's got that Allen wrench. We'll be able to slide these up and down to get them aligned so they'll fit. So if it doesn't fit perfectly, don't freak out. We still have that extra step into place. All right, perfect, good fit. We may have to adjust these with that Allen wrench. That one looks good. Let's see how far off we are. Oh, good. I think that goes up. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at this knob to see if those are even. All right, so right now what I'm doing is I'm taking the Allen wrench. I just did this one, and I'm pulling these out and trying to align those to each other. All right, so we'll continue to work on that alignment. We are really close now. We just gotta kind of do small adjustments. Cabinets, we did the smallest one first, as illustrated. Then we did the second one. And we slid those in. We did step 3, slid the bottom one in last. We did our adjustments. So now we've got that adjusted up and down. We've got this assembled minus mounting it to the wall and putting the countertop on. That's intentional because we didn't want to have it all assembled, mounted, and then still move it until we had the dishwasher. We do have the dishwasher now, but we're going to assemble this next cabinet. Once we get it assembled, then we'll know where we need to be in relation to the dishwasher. Our last step will be to mount the top part of the cabinet system that covers all the cabinets and the dishwasher.